Okay. So, it has occurred to me that my audio is a little desynced. Um, we're going to see if we can fix that now. Um, Kind of difficult for me to tell. I'm just going to put it to the default settings, see if that is better. Um, Not really sure how bad it was or is now even. Um, but once we get some people in here, maybe you guys can let me know if the audio is desynced or if it's okay. But for now, I'm hoping that is better. But yeah, I guess we will have to wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and post a few links. And we'll get going. Oh, we got a new member in Revelo, so I'm going to go ahead and say hello to them. And then we'll get started. But yeah, I'm hoping the audio isn't as bad now. It was like super low on my previous stream. But yeah, I think we're all set now. Again, I have no idea how the audio sync is going to be. It's just kind of difficult for me to tell without having a ton of echo throughout the stream, but I guess, yeah, if someone comes into the stream, they can let me know. But I don't have like a consistent schedule, so I don't expect many people to just show up as soon as I hit the go live button. We're gonna sort of take it day by day and hopefully find a schedule that is appealing to others and works for me. But for now, it's kind of just whenever I feel like it. But I'm hoping this week we'll do a consistent 4:30 or 5 p.m. Eastern start time. And yeah, we'll go from there. Like I said, I'll just wait to see if that is a decent time, because it is something that I should be able to stick with. But we got this little Bricklink order to go through first, from a local store near me, which I always try to. That's sort of my preferred way of buying parts on Bricklink. I try to go local whenever I can. You don't have to pay the shipping fees, and it's just a lot easier to work with. Local sellers are, always good to support your local businesses. But if you can find a good one near you, I totally recommend doing the same for anyone watching at home. We also got some coffee. yeah, before I start, I guess this is sort of the prerequisite, because there's a few pieces that I need in here. Some of these pieces are for other projects, but most of it is for what's in front of me. A lot of this stuff I was running super low on, so this is much needed. And yeah, replenish some of the bricks with clips, which I've been using for the stonework, so this is super helpful to have. I feel like I had a lot more of these, or I thought I did, but it was the other variant which I had in my collection, so that one's not super useful, so I'm glad to have more of these, and get this torso for another creation of mine I'm working on. But, and as well as the olive, that's not going to be super useful in this gray mock that I'm working on, but do let me know how the audio is. It was super quiet last stream and desynced, but I've tweaked the settings a little bit, so hopefully it's a bit better, but I'm still kind of trying to figure out what works best here. But I think it's okay for now. Some nice 1x1 tiles, which is running a little bit low on, so that is a very much welcome sort of topping up. I mean, didn't really do much if you're just looking at it from the bin, but I don't think I'll need too many to finish up what's left, because we're going for a combination of tiles, the clips with bars, we're doing Thor hammers, we're got a pretty nice variety of pieces making up the stonework. So I'm just gonna sort this out really quickly. And all these snot bricks. And we also got this elusive lavender stem, which is a nice little bonus. Obviously not for this mock, but it's pretty hard to come by, so I saw that one piece, and then, yeah, I saw that one piece and I just had to grab it because you don't see it too often. And this little medium lime, sorry. I don't even know what this is called. It's like a stud with a hole. So some cool little bonus parts that I threw in. And we got some old gray wedge plates and just some larger plates. And then the other thing that's kind of not relevant to what I'm doing, just this medium green brush. So a few novel items, to me at least, or the collection as a whole. But a lot of this stuff is just basic, you know, snot bricks. You got the bricks with the clips. And then we also have just some bars that I'll need. So I'm gonna go ahead and sort this out real quick. Maybe I'll get some music on in the background as well. That would be nice for this segment. Let's see. Get some ambience. Here we go. Assuming that my desktop audio is even... Yeah, I don't even know if my desktop audio is set up in my audio mix, so I might not actually be able to do that right now. I'm just going to try to stay on track then, because I know there's probably some of you who want to have your own music or something. Personally, I've been building a lot without music. I'm not sure if I mentioned that just now, but I feel like it's like the whole reason for me that I've sort of been doing more streaming is to sort of keep myself accountable while I'm building. Just because when I'm live, even if it's like 0 people watching me, I'm a lot more conscious of how I'm spending my time, that is. So this is just something, you know, if it's entertaining for people to watch, you know, that's great. But it's also for my benefit. And yeah, if anyone's watching who's ever thought about it, I do recommend it. Got some more brackets here. Nice dark gray brackets. And some jumper plates in old gray. extra nice to have, because the 1x2 tiles are kind of hard to come by. So these are a nice compromise for me. I can just, I mean, this one has some play wear. They said it, so I'm not expecting new pieces, especially if I'm buying old gray, but yeah, they're nice if you can't find the 1x2 tiles, because you can just, like, in my case, I'm using them in the brickwork, but I can just throw like a round stud or a stud or like a round tile on top of it to act like a rock is on it or something, and it's basically a tile once you look beyond that. But I'm just gonna sort these out into my bins, and then we'll get going. Pull up Discord on my other monitor as well, just in case. But yeah, I would like to have like just some ambient sound or music for those of you who are watching, make it maybe a bit more enjoyable. But I would have to do some OBS technical changes. I mean, probably would take 2 seconds, but yeah, maybe next stream we'll do that. But that's most of the order. I just gotta put these plates away. It's just a small order, probably around like $30, I think, Canadian. But these are all parts that I was really needing to finish out the stonework here. So, but I try not to buy too many pieces when I can. I try to work with what I have in my collection. We got some more of the dots tiles in light gray, which are nice. And you can also see sort of how I have my pieces organized. I have these 3D printed dividers in the Craftsman storage units are what I'm using. You can get Acro Mills ones or some other brands I know of carry them, but these were the cheapest option for me. And they don't come with the dividers, so it's a nice use case for like a 3D printer, but obviously you can just cut out some cardboard, make the same thing. And some more, a bunch of clips in here it looks like, and some old gray 1x1 plates, which are nice. I always love getting more of these. But yeah, all these pieces are going to be used in this mock, pretty much. And I've used so many of these curve slopes for the rock work, and I do still have to fill out a bit more of the rock work, so these are welcome additions to the collection. I use those a lot when doing rock work, so I feel like I never have enough of like the curved tiles or these slopes in general. This is an interesting piece that I'm going to use for potentially this build. You won't see exactly where I plan to have it yet, but if I get enough done or enough progress, something I'll consider doing a expansion for the top half, but for now we're just working on the crossroads. yeah, we're gonna get started here shortly. Just putting a few of these parts into the drawers. And it should be a good stream. Got lots to do, as usual. Got some pearl dark gray ingots, which is cool. And more of these, like, I don't know, I think they're called nipple plates by the community. But those are useful for the leaf technique, which I used in last stream to get a half plate offset with only a 2-plate profile, I believe it is. So instead of using, like, to demonstrate real quick, instead of using like a snot brick and a bracket here like that, we can use I'm just gonna grab them from my plant bag so I can demonstrate this, and I'll likely end up using them, so here we are. But if you go with some of these, this was a technique I saw originally by Grant Davis, and you can see the difference of how much space is required to use the snot brick versus the like limb or leaf element, and the two, well, I guess you don't need to have them completely filled out, these plates. But yeah, it's achieving the same half plate gap there, and it's a much smaller profile. So yeah, it's a nice technique to know. It's already been very useful for me in this build. Last stream I used it once, but I will probably end up using it again. So it's good to have these pieces in front of me. I think I will probably just give that seller some feedback real quick. It's my local seller that I have frequented a lot, so I want to give them a kind word as usual. Let them know I appreciate them, of course. And that is most of the parts sorted. Didn't take too long. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and probably reposition the tripod here, but first I will put the mock in front. Move my camera now. Oops. Just gotta tweak my setup a little bit here. And I think that will probably be okay. I'll zoom out for a moment just to give you guys an idea of the size of this mock. So yeah, I'm just gonna write up a little bit of feedback and then we'll get started. All right, now that that's taken care of, we can get started. Post feedback for the Bricklink sellers, people, if you're not doing that. Helps them out. I'm not a Bricklink seller, but, you know. Hello there, Robo Bricks. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Looks super good so far. That's nice of you to say. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to figure out the ideal angle to display this mock, given that I have very limited desk space. So showcasing the build is probably like the hardest part of this process, effectively, while I'm actually working on it, that is. But, you know, the stream is nice, keeps me accountable. So, yeah, feel free to drop by and stick around if you'd like. We're going to be filling in this gap here in the stonework. But that's the plan. So, how's your night going? My night is just getting started. Zoom in here a little bit. Whoa. Please focus. Oh, I was zooming out the wrong way. Oops. Can't stay long. Getting super late here and I got work early tomorrow. Yeah, it's been difficult for me to find a good stream time that accommodates, you know, the EU people, and or I'm assuming you're from EU. If it's super late, it's around 5 o'clock for me Eastern time, so as a Canadian. But I appreciate you stopping by nevertheless. Yeah. Denmark, I see. It's awesome. See the Danish friends stopping by. But yeah, like I was saying, it's I don't know. I'm thinking maybe doing a stream earlier in the afternoon, for me that is, and I don't know. I was thinking of doing like a steady schedule this week, where I started now until like 8 o'clock at the latest. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just try to get a daily stream, change the time up each night, see sort of what people prefer, because I am pretty flexible at the moment. But yeah, for all the people who drop by, even though it's super late, you are very much appreciated. Hopefully we'll get a schedule figured out soon, because I do want to have more streams happening. But I'm just not sure what that will look like just yet. But let's see. That seems all right. Yeah, that's about the best I can do as far as lighting goes, but I think it's fine. So yeah, the situation here is we need to fill in this section and the bottom right area here, right behind this carriage. Can't really get a great angle, but that's what I'm hoping to do tonight, fill in these outstanding gaps in the stonework. We got a decent chunk taken care of last night. See the chat. Hey Isaiah, how's it going? We are just having to deal with the issue of keeping a spot that I can plug in my lights for, because I have another one coming. But yeah, let me know how my audio sounds. It was like super quiet last night, so I've tried to tweak things a little bit, and it wasn't super synced up properly. I guess it's kind of hard to tell if it's perfectly synced or not, even if you're watching. Hey, Jacob. Not able to stay around for long, but you wanted to tune in and say Bill looks lovely. I appreciate that. Audio's a bit quiet? Okay. Let me see if I can fix that. Turn it up a little bit. Not sure how much louder that is, but I think that should be a bit better. Going well, you're mostly just working on school and editing, or in chilling, sorry. And let me finish reading that initial comment. You're not able to stay around for long, but you wanted to tune in and say the build looks lovely. Keep it up with the streams. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, man, I know it's difficult for the EU folks. It's super late down there. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. It means a lot. Just because new to the streaming thing. And for me, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to try to keep it up indeed. So thanks for the kind words. And yeah, I'm glad folks are stopping by saying hello. I don't think I'm going to have a too entertaining stream anyways, so if you're not able to stick around for too long, it's not the end of the world. We're just filling in this stonework, and it gets a bit repetitive. So for me, it's just nice to have the stream up and sort of keep myself accountable, you know, make sure I'm not spending too much time. I had to triple my usual volume to have comfy listening. Yeah. I was watching my stream back last night, and that was the situation for me as well. So it's a work in progress, the stream, is what I'll say. But I appreciate the feedback. That's very helpful. So yeah, I'm going to get to it. And it looks like I'm going to be using the limb technique for a half plate gap again here. Ideally, that is probably what I'll do. But if you are around, I wanted to ask you, Jacob, if you had planned to do any other streams yourself, because I think yours were definitely what sort of got me into it, or wanting to do so myself. Thought I do totally get the holding accountable mindset, though I do have to say that I was never particularly productive during stream compared to the same time frame off stream. Yeah, I think that was definitely how it was when I started doing the first few streams. In this case, it's very sort of menial, repetitive techniques that I'm doing that don't require like a ton of thinking. But if I was doing more complex problem solving, I would definitely agree with what you're saying there. So in this case, it's nice to, you know, have the stream going and just kind of hang out. You know, familiar with this technique? Yeah, so it was not found by myself, or I don't know who originally did, but I saw it from Grant Davis, and it's just a very low-profile way of achieving a half-plate gap, instead of using like a snot brick and a bracket. Yeah, you can see here, once I'll have a snot brick on the other side, to sort of demonstrate. Not allowed to share, really. Oh, I would love to. I don't. Sorry. I thought you were saying you're not allowed to share this stream. I missed that first text. You would love to, but you don't have any projects to stream. 2 builds for Brick and Bavaria collabs. I see. Yep, I do have another project that's ongoing. I'm in a similar position. So, yeah, it looks like everyone's got some work that's behind the scenes that's very hush-hush. So, I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe once some of these conventions are done with, I was thinking maybe later in the year doing another Age of the Unseated stream that I'll try to get an actual build finished in one stream, which I know you had done previously. So that was just something that was on my mind. But obviously there's so many conventions and other contests that are ongoing. So building for an RPG isn't super, I don't know, there's not a lot of incentive, I guess. So, but yeah, look forward to seeing what you guys are cooking up. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but I will try to stay focused. So yeah, I guess that's probably going to be ideal, something like that. But yeah, the biggest concern here is just keeping an access point open here for the lights. So it's going to be a little tricky. But it looks like this should be fine. Seems like there's enough support there. But yeah, I've got the 2 connection points from this one limb, and it's very sturdy. I mean, I could add something here in the middle just to ensure that nothing ends up falling under pressure. So I think I will go ahead and do that. Did you plan the build or just wing it? So this one, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do going into it. I made a few changes as far as like color palette and stuff. I had no intention of doing all this trans orange initially. It was just going to be like a grayscale build, and that got super boring, so I wanted to make it more interesting. But as far as like the structure and like composition of this build, it was pretty much all planned ahead. But I started adding in sand blue and orange to make things interesting. But yeah, I streaming minifig design, but production partners generally appreciate keeping a surprise as well. Yeah, that's understandable. That would be super interesting, I gotta say though. Not really sure how that process or what that process entails, but graphic design is always interesting to see. You know, I'm sure everybody has a different process, so I'm sure it'd be a good learning exercise for some of us. Do you do that in like, I'm assuming you have a more professional program, but from one of your previous streams I had seen you using GIMP to edit your mocks, but I'm guessing might be something different for that. But I'd be curious to what program you use to do that. On the other hand, having collabs that keep me building behind the curtain are better than not building at all, which I did for most of last year. You pride for level. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it's certainly good to have a few projects going that, you know, keep you busy. And, yeah, building on the stream can be a bit of a distraction. Vector-based software like Adobe Illustrator, Inkscape, and the likes. Interesting, okay. Yeah, Illustrator makes sense. I haven't dabbled in it myself, but I tried messing around with InDesign, but usually I just do Photoshop for my like mock editing, but all that stuff is foreign to me. But yeah, that's really interesting. If you have like a design that isn't you know, for like a brand or anything, maybe if you're just sort of doodling, I'd love to see that stream. But I understand that you you know, got to keep some of that stuff quiet. But yeah, Bobo Bricks, if you're just applying for Rebelug, I believe it's going to be a while for voting. Yeah, I think you just missed the recent window for applications. So either way, I've seen some of your mocks, and I think you're definitely a worthy candidate. Just might have to wait a little while. But yeah, I'm going to keep reading chat as I go. I'll try to stay focused. I just wanted to converse while my friends who are up late are in the stream, because I know you guys probably won't be able to stick around for too much longer. But you learned Illustrator for a class. It's pretty powerful, but definitely unique in its own thing. Yeah, I honestly have no idea how it works. But my mom is a graphic designer, so I know she uses it for, I guess illustrations would be the obvious thing to say. But I was doing the logo that I have for my channel, she actually did for me. Or partly. I made a few adjustments. But I'm pretty sure that was done in Illustrator, I would say. So, I don't have any use myself, though. Or haven't used it myself, I should say. Two months? Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's justifying the cost of using the platform is definitely difficult. So if you can get it through school, that's awesome. I'd definitely use that while you can. Where are my clips? There we are. So we got lots of the bricks with clips, which are super useful here, which I'm excited about. As I had ran out last stream, so the build should be a lot easier working with these, but there's one right next to it, so it's not exactly ideal to go ahead and use another. In this case, yeah, it's over 11 here. You're gonna go to sleep? All right, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Really, it means a lot. Hope to catch an earlier stream at some point. Already begging that leaves technique. Yeah, it's definitely one that's nice to have in your toolbox for sure. Of techniques. And yeah, hopefully sometime maybe on the weekend, I think it would make sense to have a earlier stream. I'm probably going to do similar times this week from when I started today, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what people are saying. And, I think I maybe do some sand blue here. Mix it up a little bit. I haven't really had any the sand blue usage has kind of been all over the place, and I started with thinking I could do it to make like shadowing details, and now it's kind of just become something I throw in wherever I think I might like it, might make sense. I've sort of stopped thinking too hard about it, which can be a good thing. Like I was saying before, the stream has really helped me kind of keep myself or be a bit more mindful about where I'm spending my time while building. And thinking too hard about color usage and stuff has definitely been part of that. So it's nice to sort of just go off the feels instead of thinking too hard about everything. This is kind of an awkward gap though. I think probably just go like this. And then add another clip and bar, just a small one. Yeah, as I said before, this is going to be what most of the stream is tonight. Just throwing down some bars and clips and repeating this process. But if we end up filling out this section, I will probably start working on a background for this mock. But we'll see. It depends on how much progress I get within the first hour or two. But I'm hoping to go for about 3 hours tonight. I got another battery, so once the camera dies, I will replenish the battery life with another. So if anyone wasn't able to make it earlier, it should be live for a bit longer. But I know lots of us are heading to bed now. And how do I want to continue the trans orange here? And do I want to light this up is the question. Optimally, getting another light in here, I think would be nice, but might be tricky actually getting it there, I think. But I think this bracket gives us a little bit of maneuverability if I just sort of plan around getting a light there eventually, or maybe actually just funneling one in there now and then connecting it to a dock later when I can, because I'm waiting on another belt cable to connect to this split dock. Or sorry, is it this one? No, it's this one, the back one. So that's sort of like the central power for the lights. I have from Light My Bricks, it's this split dock which you can connect the belt cables to power up multiple docks, so you just have one. Alright, looks like we're buffering there a little bit, but as I was saying, it allows you to just have one of the USB cables connecting to the dock instead of having, you know, several of them. So I've been trying to organize my lighting a bit more, and that's helped things for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the 1x2 tile here in trans orange. Try to continue this little pattern I have going. I think something like that. But there's a bit of a gap here, so I'll probably want to extend this by a plate. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. So I think it'd be best to just go with like a brick there, probably. And just build off of that. But yeah, we're just kind of chilling. Not the most intense build stream ever. I'm not on the clock trying to get a build within 2 hours like I was last night during the build challenge for Rebelug, which was a good time. But I think that would be something interesting to either record or do live. I know that's something that will probably be returning. I don't think that was just a one-off thing. They should be doing more. But yeah, I guess some slow and steady progress. The stream keeps buffering on my end, or on YouTube at least, but I can't tell if that's just me or if it's the stream. But let me know if you guys are having some connection issues when you're trying to view the stream. Honestly, the biggest challenge for me while I've been streaming is keeping my desk space organized and not letting things get too cluttered. So I'm hoping to be a bit more mindful of that today. But I'll probably take a break now and then just to sort of reset, clean things up a bit. But I only need so many parts for this technique, so while I'm just doing the stonework, it shouldn't be too bad. I don't think. How do I want to probably go a bit further back here? The trans orange. Make sure that's all pushed down nice and strong. And I gotta keep in mind, we have these Thor's hammers. Since I'm low on ingots, these have kind of been the next best thing, but I can't really get them in effectively at this height. I kind of have to make a spot specifically for them instead of having it built on the half plate gap that I'm operating at. So it's good that I sort of triggered my awareness there that those pieces exist. Probably go like this. Yeah, this is tricky to get this to look like a natural sort of flow with the trans orange here. I think that's probably fine. I want to give myself lots of space to work with on the clip, or on the bar, I should say. So probably just go like this. That's not terrible. Yeah, I don't mind that. But it should probably be a bit more gradual than having this clip there, I think. So maybe I swap this guy out instead for something like that, and then just add like a plate to one of these. Yeah, and I'll just slowly have it curve back up this way. It's a bit better. I mean, this isn't a great angle, but more focused on how the trans orange looks than the brickwork in this section here specifically. Yeah, let's keep moving. Can I? No. I mean, unless I can fit one of these in there. Which I think I can actually. Just swap this out. And use the 1x2 with the one clip connection instead, like I had before. See how that is. If I move this over. Oh, it's close. Yeah, okay, I just swapped that chi slope for, or I just removed the 1x1 plate, it looks like. Should be fine. Yeah, this is like not a huge improvement, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. Sometimes you gotta drop the perfectionist mentality and just sort of go with the flow. I was trying to make this look like perfect, but I think it's alright as is. You know, this stud is probably covering that up a little bit anyways, and it's like something that only I am gonna notice. More than likely. When you look at this mock, you know, in its entirety, versus me staring at it from behind like this. It's easy to get tunnel visioned from my perspective, so that's something that I've been struggling with a little bit, but I think like last stream was a really productive session for me, and I was sort of letting that go, just kind of focusing on not worrying too much about the small details. If that makes sense, yeah, focusing on not focusing on that. Yeah, that's basically what was happening. That's a bit more gradual there. Slowly sort of curves back this way. And I don't know if I have any more of the like D tiles, but I know I have the round ones that I can throw in there. Best relaxing video to watch after midnight. Hey man, I'm glad to hear it. We're just kind of chilling. This is definitely more of a chill, laid back stream for sure. So I'm glad to be of service. Thanks for stopping by, Peter. But yeah, I try to give my thoughts on what I'm doing and not be super passive while I'm building. So be a bit of commentary here and there. You know, I try my best. But it's definitely been a challenge trying to balance building effectively and being somewhat entertaining. But I think some sand blue would be a decent option here. Or do I go the other way? Yeah, okay. So we're going to swap this out for a sand blue 1x1 plate. Mix in some color. Because I noticed the left side of this MOC had a lot more sand blue going on and wasn't super balanced. So I'm trying to change that. Oops. Yeah, that doesn't want to fit there, so we'll go like this instead. And I think I just add one plate to this. Hang on, what's the best way to do that? If this doesn't want to fit, and I want it right about there. It's not great. I like the sand blue to be a bit closer together, more like this. So I'll probably swap that out for a plate and a tile. And then I can go with a gray plate to extend that a little bit. But yeah, next stream I'll maybe throw on some ambient music or just something to break up me talking. And I don't know, unless the audio, if it's good this time, maybe just the pieces being placed is a nice sort of sound in itself. That is the ambience, if you will. Yeah, I don't love that either. I'm being a little picky right now, which I'm trying not to be, but there's a really easy solution here, which is just move this clip over. So I'm gonna take this off. There we go. There we go. So we go back to this. And then I can go with my cheese slope and get it lined up the way I want to. And it's still this way is what I wanted, yes. All right, that's better. But yeah, filling in this gap's going to be a little awkward. I'm going to have to use another one of these bricks, it looks like, to get the most area covered as possible. I think that works out pretty well. I mean, I could swap those two, like swap this for sand blue. I'm not really sure how I want to approach that. But let's see what we can do over here first. So it'll probably just be another cheese slope. Yeah, that fills things in nicely. But yeah, I haven't really done it much, but like the cheese slope that's sort of just like lining up here, I really like how subtle that is. Like the sand blue, like it's smaller than a plate or like a tile. And I'm gonna try to incorporate that a bit more. So I think I will change that a little bit here to reflect that. It's a small thing, but I do like that look. So even if the spacing is a little worse, I think it's worth it. Yeah, I do like that. Yeah, I can move that over, no problem. Gap there is fine. But a lot of these gaps, when you're looking at it from the backside here, they might appear a lot larger than they actually are. Let me zoom in a little bit. That's better. And I haven't seen a stud for a while. It looks like I can get one pretty easily right here. Maybe. If I go with either headlight brick or a Technic brick, maybe. Looks like a Technic brick would be. No, that's not going to work, unfortunately. And I don't really have the space to go for a Thor's hammer either, but I can maybe get an ingot there. Or is that just the same issue? Right. That's not an ingot. I'm running out of filler brick, so we'll see how this goes. I'm okay with that being a half plate higher, but I would like it to be attached to something so it's not constantly moving. Jumper plate would probably be ideal. Can I get away with that? That's a little too bad of a connection. Yeah, let's just go with a jumper, I guess. But I do need something else on the left. And I'm going to have to extend this. So this is a interesting scenario. Because I need to have this space accessible later. Might not be super visible at the moment. Actually, no, it looks like you can see kind of what I'm getting at. But I have to obviously fill out this space here. So building something that I can easily sort of get my finger in, and I just need to plug in one cable there to connect another dock. But with this technique, I'm not sure how like modular. Use this round plate with a clip to attach the tile. Round plate with clip. Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. But before I continue building on that plate, I'm gonna try to figure out a good way to have a section here that I can detach, or at least have it where I can access the lighting dock here. And I mean, I'm getting the cable, I think it's Wednesday, so I suppose I could just sort of build around this section until I can finally get the cable there. But yeah, something to think about. I'm not sure how I want to approach this actually. But I can definitely just build up here a little bit. I don't really, this is kind of not an issue if I have to build over that. But can I, say if I remove that? My tweezers. Oops. I can't remember if this was reversed or what. Looks like it was like this. But if I swap this out to where I can build off of it with a plate, that would be ideal here. That's too big, so it looks like just a brick. So we're doing a bit of surgery at the moment, trying to make it a bit more ideal to work with, to connect to the assembly that I have on the right here. That is. So we're gonna add a plate there now, and I think I can throw in a couple of these. What do you guys refer to these? I guess L plates is what I normally call them. Something like that. And the Thor's hammer was probably 2 plates higher, or 1? Can't remember. On this brick, let's see. At least 1. But yeah, lighting up your mocks, it's nice, but it definitely is a challenge if you don't have the lights available at the moment. And you're kind of thinking ahead of like how you're gonna place things, like giving you space to add lights later. Like that's kind of the position I'm in right now. So it's a little tricky to navigate this. But so that might actually be, oops. That might actually be a good reason to work on the other section. Oh, that shot off a lot higher. That piece just took flight. Here we go. I think that's everything that I had there. But yeah, we may end up pivoting to this section on the right instead, which I do still have to fill out, and it's basically the same technique. So, but yeah, for now, that is a nice addition. One thing I forgot to order from the Bricklink order, which I opened earlier in the stream, is the snot bricks with one on the opposite side, which are actually really good. Like that's what I'm using here for like situations like this. Is that at the same level? I think it is. Yeah. But like in this case, I've only got that one connection point here to work with. So I'll probably end up just putting like a few bricks here or something just to make it strong, instead of doing the bar and clip situation. So I'll definitely want to connect these two. So just, what's the best way to do that? Because that doesn't seem very strong, even if I connect them. Probably like this, I guess. that seems a bit better. I think the nipple plate is actually a good support to hold that up if you don't have a half plate connection to work with. So let's go and do that on like a, what is it going to be, a brick here? Or is that too high? I think that's too high. So it's the 1 by 1 by 2/3. I'm pretty sure this works. Like it doesn't support it, but it'll just keep it from like falling forward, I guess. Yeah, that's not really doing much, is it? But I guess it's better than nothing. I'm not sure the best way to do that, like have something support it without it actually connecting. But either way, I think this is a good case for an ingot, like there. But yeah, we are going to be a half plate above, it looks like. But I don't think I want to see the medium nougat filler brick. So that's, yeah. So that's just what it has to be. Which I don't mind. Probably could have done something differently there. Like, let's say if I just ditch the whole half plate. Probably fine, because then I can go like here. And build up from there. Yeah, I think that's better. But I wouldn't want to have an ingot directly next to another one, so I'll swap that out. I can go with like an old gray 1 by 1 plate. Make things a bit more interesting, I reckon. Nice. So that's a bit better to work with here. But this will probably be the last line of this section that I work with. Because as soon as I'm able to fill in this this gap here where my wires are, I can continue, but I think it's just going to be a bit of a headache to, you know, try to fill this in without covering this up, and it's not going to be super strong either. And instead, like, because I can work on another area, I think it makes more sense to pivot for now, but we're going to fill in this last line first before I do that. Bar. Which would be best here? Let's see. Like this? Yeah, that looks about right. Perfect. Actually, perfect fit. Yeah, that's better focus. Using a lot of my light gray 1 by 1 tiles, but that's why we just bought more. They are here to be used, so no worries. So yeah, this won't be the strongest, but it's enough. Once I get more here, it's fine. So not the end of the world if that's not the strongest connection. It's more of an issue of filling that out. Pretty much gonna have to go with another one of those brick with clips, looks like. So, might want to swap out the one I just placed for something else. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's fine. Actually, don't need to swap anything. Looks like that fits pretty well. That's a pretty big gap that there's nothing super, or nothing coming to mind as far as what will fill that in effectively, but I don't want to just have another like sideways assembly that is identical to what's there, like the two bricks on their sides this way, or a clip that's this way. Oops. But I'm not sure I have another option here. So it's probably best to swap this out for something else. Like one of these. I'd rather have it there, so I'm going to go for the 1x2 with one connection point instead. That works better. And then I should be able to have the... I'm not sure how you differentiate the names of the clips, but I can have the alternate variant here instead of what we were previously working with. Probably change that around, or yeah, it's this is what I try to avoid. I tried having it be constantly different instead of it being like the same direction clip here. But this is a case where it's kind of difficult to get away from either. So, I'm not sure how I want to approach this. I think maybe just going... But see, then I don't like having those super close, so it's like a back and forth. But this is the best way to do it. It seems like just having this guy closer to the right. Like this. And then I can just fill that out with... one of the opposite clips instead. I add one more plate or go with the cheese slope, probably be ideal. All right. So that's decent progress here. But like I was saying, I think it's probably best that I pivot to the other section below it. But I'll do a quick front view just so we can see sort of what my work amounted to. Hey Dan, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate the kind words. It's very nice. We are just working on some stonework here in the front. As you can see, I've just sort of filled out a bit of this gap here. But I'm going to be working now on this lower section. So, yeah, I haven't really showed off this sort of carriage. I'm not really sure what else to call it. But that's probably one of my favorite parts of this mock. And it's not super flattering from the backside, which is what you'll be seeing while I work on the stonework on this section. So thought I'd give a little bit of focus or screen time for this guy before I'm staring at the backside for the rest of the stream. The board and carriage are super cool. Thanks. Yeah, I'm using a... let me zoom out a little bit. A variety of these curved bricks to come up with this shape for the border. And I think it's a pretty nice effect. I didn't want to have something super straight because carriage instantly gives the Hollow Knight feel. Hey man, I appreciate it. I stumbled upon the printed tile from the Friendly Snail set, and I think it does a pretty good job of giving off that look of like a shell, I guess. If you look at the like in-game reference, it's about as close as you can get as far as the Lego parts available. So dark blue is a pretty decent color. I didn't want to have too much gray going on in this build, so that's why I ended up doing the infection in the first place. I wasn't planning on doing the sort of infected crossroads, I guess you could say, is what I'm working on. I was originally just planning to do the standard crossroads, but the mock was just a gray base plate with some rock work, so I wanted to make it a bit more interesting. So the dark blue adds nice, breaks up the color a bit, I should say, rather, and the infection does that as well. But it's not a super strong design, the carriage, but it's like you can see from this angle, I think, how it's kind of just open, but you know, I guess it's kind of that extra layer of realism. You know, you got to have space to put things in the carriage, right? That's what it does. So anyways, I'm gonna turn the mock around here and I'll reposition the camera to get a better angle of what I'm going to be working on. But yeah, just gonna have to move things around a little bit. But yeah, we're just kind of chilling. Not too much going on. We're just doing some stonework tonight. See if I can move this over a little bit. Zoom out. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, the most challenging part of this hasn't even been the actual build process. It's been like while I'm streaming, that is, it's been getting the whole build on camera because it's so big. Let's see what I can do here. Make things a bit better. But we also have a bit of a brick-built shadow here going on. The idea is to light up the infection that's just in front of the carriage here, and sort of have it so the light is in front of it, not behind it. So there's a shadow being created, obviously, on this side. But, you know, I worry that it's going to be too dark, in the finished result. I'm not sure how obvious the shadow will even be in the end. Like, it looks, you can clearly see it on camera now, but I'm debating on whether I want a bit more infection here that'll be lit up on this backside. I mean, obviously it won't really make sense with the shadow here. So it's kind of like a needs-want situation. But I think for now, I mean, the good thing is if I do want lights there, I can easily just sort of wedge them in between the border here. So I'm free to build pretty much as I want, not having to worry about struggling to get the lights here if I do decide to do that. But I don't know. I'm still debating on how I want to light up this section. And I guess I should probably reinforce this rock work before we get started working on this section. I'm just going to check the Twitch, see if there is anybody even watching on that platform. I haven't been monitoring the chat. I should probably... Yeah. Oh, man. So I definitely missed a few chats earlier, but I should probably stipulate that I'm only reading chat from YouTube. So I'm really sorry if kind of reminds you of Mordor, Well, that was 5 minutes ago. Yeah, so actually I can keep both chats open, I think. Let's see what I can do. Take a quick moment to do that. There we go. So I apologize if there is anyone in the Twitch chat who I missed, but I've got both chats open now. But we're gonna get back to it now. So yeah, first order of business is just reinforcing this rock work before I continue doing the stonework here. Or I'm not even sure if it's entirely necessary because it's a brick above. Like, I'm definitely going to reinforce it, but I don't know if I need to do so right this second. I can probably just put that off for now. But it is currently positioned right here, so I've got to texture everything from... Okay, got it. Oops. But yeah, I think that's somewhat visible, what I'm going to be working on. It's kind of difficult for me to get a good angle, like I was saying. So I do apologize for that. Normally I have these candles going, but so that's why I'm limited on my desk space. But since I'm not using them, I can probably just move that out of the way right now. So I can give you guys a better shot if I do that real quick. Sorry if I obstructed the camera view, but this is all for the best because now I've got lots more desk space to work with. I think that's probably ideal, right? No. Yeah, as you can see, we are this is kind of amateur hour, rookie streamer. Let's see what I can do. Okay, I think that was an improvement. Yeah, now you can get a clear view of this section. All right. So, got to get everything detailed from one brick over, it looks like. Or perhaps, yeah, everything, I'd say, from these two bricks beneath is going to be stonework. And it looks like my approach to do that was a little different here than what I've been doing. The assembly here was using D-snots, and it's a little complicated, and I don't have D-snots, so I think I'm just going to continue doing what I was doing up top, given that I just picked up more brackets. And I can actually take the border off as well, give me a bit more space to work with. Upgrades, people. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, let me just spend the rest of the stream focusing on getting a good shot. That's a good way to spend my time. But no, I think that is an improvement from what I was just showing. So let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I was trying to get at this half plate offset, so I can do the same thing, but I'm just going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to keep doing the technique I was spamming earlier with just snot bricks and brackets. I don't think I'll need to use the leaf element technique here, which is what you can see here, how I got that half plate gap there. It should be
pretty much free to just use these soft bricks in the brackets.
No problem.
But I've been live for, let's see, how long? About an hour and a half or so. So my battery should be good for another half hour or so, and then I'll swap out for the other one, which is fully charged. Alright, get some faux brick down. So yeah, more filler brick is needed, and I know this isn't super entertaining, but hey man, trying to show what the behind the scenes of a large scale build like this looks like. And a lot of it, the work isn't sexy, you know, it's sort of the grunt menial labor that you have to do if you want to create something like this. And I think it's, yeah, stuff that like doesn't really get highlighted, I guess. So it's nice to just kind of hang out on the stream and show off what that entails, where it otherwise wouldn't. But I can probably just throw a bigger plate down here instead of these 2x. That works. But actually, I want to swap that out for a Technic brick, because if I have another section behind here, I want it to be modular. So I need a Technic brick there, and I'm not willing to cover this all up at the moment. But I don't. Here they are. Just get under that plate. So I'll swap this out. Oh, my brick separators are hiding. There. Oh, it's already under a plate. Okay, so there we go. Nice. So I probably won't need every single one of these pin slots, but it's nice to have them there, just in case. What do I need here? This 2x5.
So I actually do have a few, but
or is it the 1x5s that I have? I don't know. That piece is in the Lego system, I believe. Either the 1x5 or 2x5s. But yeah, I do have both Twitch and YouTube chats open now. So if you were in the stream earlier and I missed your chat in Twitch, I apologize, but I just wanted to mention that again. Most of my streams, I haven't seen much activity on Twitch, so I kind of just wrote it off entirely. But got it open now. But the utility of Twitch is nice because I can have music going on for my Twitch viewers. I don't have it on right now, but I think moving forward that is something I'll do. So if you want to listen to some music or my copyright music that I'll be playing moving forward, then you can check out the Twitch. But tonight it's just peace and quiet. So this is a nice little spot that I've carved out as I dropped my brick separator. And we can go with another larger plate here, and then we'll be able to start throwing on the bricks with the brackets, that is. Probably want to reinforce that a little bit, I guess. It's probably the smart thing to do. Probably do the same thing here. Just build up the way I was before. But just gotta keep in mind where this placement is going to be, which is right there. So give myself that's 6 studs. Okay. So yeah, this is currently like the most riveting building stream you've ever seen. Guy places down filler bricks. But we will be resuming the stonework shortly. I mean, not that that's much better, but hey, we're making progress. That's what counts. That's a little too big. We'll go like this, I guess. Oh, that's one brick too far. Oops. Let me just double check that. Like that, okay, so it's a bit more awkward, but I do have some of these smaller plates that I come up with. Yes, that's ideal. So I'm probably putting down like more filler brick than I need to. But I'm kind of okay with that, given that this model has to be transported across the country for a convention. So I'd rather have, you know, too much structure, too many bricks invested than too little, that is. But yeah, this is good. Like a 1x6 here. Let's try to put it like that. And then fill in that corner. It's one of these one by I don't even know what you would call those other than like the corner bricks. But yeah, this is definitely overkill, and you don't need to have these bricks. Like if you're just trying to build up a base to work with, you definitely don't need to have this many. I'm just doing this just because, like I said, I want it to be very strong. Like this definitely is not always a good thing, because if I have to go back and like pull things apart, it just means it's going to take a lot more time to get all these individual bricks that are interconnected from so many different points. Whereas if you just have like a few bricks in each corner, it's a lot easier to go back and move things around. But I don't think I'm gonna need to do that here. Or did I go too far? What happened here? Or that's why. I just need to get this under. There we go. Okay. So I'm not sure how much of this is going to be seen from the other side. So I just want to make sure I'm not detailing places that won't be seen later. So let's take a quick look. On this side, so everything, yeah, I kind of just need to follow where the rock work is, it looks like. If it's literally one stud above, that means it's not going to be seen. 40 times sturdier than average floor supports, yeah, you got that right. We are passing the inspection, the build inspection for sure. If there was a Lego support inspection that was conducted, I am definitely up to code. Usually build mocks that are supported by hope and friction. Yeah, man. For like the 2-hour challenge that was hosted by Rebelug recently, there was a lot of questionable. Actually, I feel like on that build I had pretty solid connections, which I actually have that I can show real quick. So this was but the point I was trying to make was for time challenges like Vignette Week and other contests like that, I typically forego having super strong connections. But yeah, we did, like you can see, I didn't even fill in this corner, but this was a little 2-hour challenge. And you can't even really see the bench because the lighting is so bad, but pretty much everything here is actually connected, but I could have definitely gotten away with just like throwing things down and not worrying too much. Thank you. I appreciate that, Peter. Yeah, this was a fun little challenge, but there's definitely cases where hope and friction is all you need. And that would have been one of them. A build that was, a 2-hour time limit. But yeah, perhaps maybe I'll expand on that in the future because the inspiration was sort of Green Path from Hollow Knight. 30% of your parts were connected. Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that one. I think there's definitely a decent crowd that falls into that camp for that challenge specifically. And I know Modulex just introduces so many other headaches as well. But yeah, maybe we will expand on that in the future. As I was saying, it was definitely Hollow Knight inspired. I'll just go with some more bricks here. And I'm going to be a bit more conservative with the filler brick I use here. Go with something like this. Just get parts in the important areas. I think I moved my camera a little bit, but this rock work I'm not going to have up while I'm building on this, so that's just temporary, so I know where I'm building around. I don't really want to use my dark green 2x4s. These are nice bricks if I ever do something while this is built. Just do something like that. Come on. Wow, that is tight. But I appreciate you both for sticking around while I'm building. Like I was saying, I'm hoping to get this stonework taken care of by the end of the night, but I think my battery's going to die shortly, so I might have to switch out the batteries. And I'm not sure how that will complicate the stream if I can... No, it shouldn't be an issue. Just gotta remove the camera from the tripod and swap them out real quick whenever that happens. That's 2x8. And I should probably add something behind there as well, a little 1x2 at least. Alright, so we got a nice little base to work on here, and we can pretty much go ahead and take this off. It's a little difficult to get in because I have this piece that is inset slightly underneath the platform, but I think it's fine to take it off for now. And I think I can lower the camera a little bit, it looks like. Zoom in. Oh, there we go. So yeah, nice shot on where we will be working at, or working on. And I guess I can start off by doing this section here. Unless I... Oh, it's a little dusty here. Get some of that off of those bricks. Man, the struggle of keeping dust off your Lego bricks, it is not easy, is what I will say. This build has been ongoing for several months, and I was literally going over it with a paintbrush like this. Just feathering away at it, trying to get some of this dust out of here. I'm sure there's much more time efficient, and actual dust removing efficiency than what I was doing. But I don't know. I'm very. This is all I have at my disposal, I guess, at the moment. But if you guys have any recommendations as far as dusting off your Lego MOCs, let me know what you like to do. This is 2x8, it looks like, or yeah. But what I was considering, just use a bigger brush. Yeah, that's probably the smarter thing to do. The paintbrushes are a little too small scale for this project, I suppose. No, I'm sure of it. But what I was gonna say is maybe if I want to leave a space to get a Thor hammer here, give up acceptance. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta accept that the dust is going to accumulate. And I'm not sure if it'll collect dust during the transportation phase at all. I guess if I have it sealed in like a box, that'll kind of keep dust out of it. But until I actually get it to, or finish the build, and I'm gonna take shots, like video shots or photos, doesn't really matter all that much. And then when I display it, obviously, will be the second most important time. But yeah, I think I would like to try to get a Thor hammer in here, so I might sort of be a little bit strategic with how I build this section up. Like maybe if I get one right there or something. Because I can't just like throw on a plate here and then try to get a Thor's hammer in there, because it's always going to be too high. Unless the bracket here isn't a terrible connection point for it. I'm slightly up above the cobblestone, which isn't bad, but obviously I want to use that to connect a plate so I can build off with the clips. So it's better if I just go like here on a jumper plate. So what do we say? That's probably a little bit high. I go on like 2 plates instead. Yeah, that's, I don't know, maybe a half plate higher isn't so bad. There is the option of just putting like a round stud on top, and then that allows me to slide it in however much I want instead of it being at that exact height. But that's obviously liable to move or fall off the connection, or yeah, I guess move around is what I'm trying to say. But that's pretty good right there. And I'll probably just put like an ingot here behind it or something. And see what that looks like. Can I get away with just throwing down these? Yes. So that's 1 plate too high. So we'll go 2 plates and a tile on top. And the nice thing about the Thor's hammers here, like it's really easy for me to work around them with the bars and clips technique that I'm using for the stonework. Whereas with actual just standard like brick built stonework, it's a lot more difficult to work them in because they kind of have odd dimensions. It's like, I'm not sure, like you can see it's a little bit smaller than an ingot. It looks like it's similar here because the ingot profile like sort of tapers slightly inward at the sides. Like it's not identical to a 1x2 tile is what I'm trying to say. And if that was just a regular tile, you would see the difference. I'm not sure exactly what the stud difference is, but the point I was trying to make is because we're working with bars and clips, we can sort of tailor any angle exactly as it's needed instead of being like locked into the the Lego grid if you were doing just standard brickwork with like bricks and plates. But last night I was considering using a 1x1 by 2/3 on this piece here. And I want to see how that looks now that I've had sort of a night to think about it. Well, that's actually way too high in this case. I am at the correct height, right? I actually might be too high. Not sure how that's possible. Let's see. Yeah, this looks... It's hard to say. Let's just get a bar down and see what this is like. I'm not even sure at this point, but we can just test real quick. I mean, the technique that I was just considering, we're too high, but let's see what this is like. If I go in with one of these, for the sake of argument. Oops. Yeah, so this is way too high. I'm not sure what I was cooking here. But, oh, okay. So I'm a stud too high. That's the issue. But that I can leave. So this is actually a good use case for the limb element, because I don't really want to have to go and rip all that up, given how strong I made this. So we're going to go ahead and use the leaf elements instead of the brackets with the snot bricks. I still don't really know how strong this is, but for what we're doing here, I don't think it's a huge problem. It might just be a little bit awkward with the spacing I have to work with. So I think I might go with them this way instead of like, because I can't fit them back to back like that here. So it's probably best to go like this. But I think that should give us the height we're looking for. I'm pretty sure. Let's try. Let's give that a shot. So, put on our plate. And yeah, now I'm a plate short, which is fine. Right? That looks right. Perfect. So another use case for the leaf technique, which is always nice to incorporate. Yeah, it's just another way of achieving the half plate gap, which is much more low profile. I believe that's what, 2 studs that you're working with, or is it even less than that? I don't even know. But because we have this brick built shadow here, it's going to be interesting working around that, because I think I would probably extend it out slightly to the left here. And what I was doing is using the sand blue to kind of emphasize that a little bit. Like I wasn't covering or outlining it completely. I was kind of just using it here and there, being like a rough outline. Like obviously this one here doesn't really follow that shadow pattern exactly. So maybe, yeah, that is kind of bothering me. Maybe I'll fix that later, but for now, it's gonna stay. It's a shame I don't have these bricks with clips in dark gray, because that would be useful to work with here. Unless maybe I have a few. Let's see. It does not look like it. So we're just going to be using clips. But yeah, the gradient that I was working with here is... let's see if we can zoom in anymore. Yeah. And adjust the lighting a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to get a good light or lit this up well while being able to build on it effectively. But I've got the darkest point in the center being dark bluish gray, and then it fades into a little bit of old gray, the old dark gray. Same kind of thing with the sand blue outline. It's not super consistent. I kind of just have it sprinkled in here and there. But dark bluish gray, to dark gray, and then sand blue, and then we even have some old light gray outlining it. So it kind of creates this shadow effect. This is my first time working with the old gray colors for the shadow. I did some previous work, another Hollow Knight build actually, where I used like sand blue and did something similar, but the old grays really give you a lot more depth. And there's other colors which you can use, like flat silver, the pearl dark grays color, the pearl dark gray colors, which Isaiah or Jim Baggins in the chat has done some work with, which you should check out if you're interested in this kind of thing. I would recommend. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, that is not gray. That is like flat silver or chrome. Not what we're looking for. I wonder if that would ever be worth using in this case. I was kind of just talking about other alternatives, but I don't think this is like chrome. I don't know if that's flat silver or chrome, but it's one of the two. And I don't think it really works here. But totally by accident, I pulled that out of the bin. But yeah, that's a good place to start right there. And I think I'll probably just use a headlight brick to fill in that gap there. So where are my 1x1 tiles? So we should be able to just go like this. See, yeah, it's kind of awkward to fill in that Thor's hammer. So that's what I was saying before. It's probably ideal for me to just use clips to fill that in instead of like a snot brick, which I thought might work. Or just like a brick in general, I guess. Didn't have to be a snot brick. Fit looks like it should. Yeah, snug like a bug in a rug. But I need one more clip to support that, so it's gonna have to come up again. See, this thing, yeah, it's like constantly wanting to fall over, but the design I'm happy with. I don't care how fragile the carriage is. It looks the part. So we do not care about how fragile it may be. I can always rebuild it at a convention, or that's bars. Yo, I'm spitting. I'll be the first LEGO streamer to do a 2-hour-long wrap while I'm streaming off the dome. No, that was more like 30 seconds. But I'm curious what my uptime is currently. I've been live for about 2 hours, so my camera battery should be going any second now. But we should be live for like another hour and a half. I mean, I'm probably just gonna go until I fill this section out. But yeah, bars. Yeah, the snug like a bug was quick off the tongue, given that everyone in the Hollow Knight universe is a bug. Um, so I'd like to make more characters. We've got 3 of them for this build specifically, but the Hollow Knight universe has tons of really cool, cute characters. So I think in the future I'll try to do some more character design. That could be like a fun stream. So now would be a good time to go with an old gray clip, looks like. And I could go with like sand blue. I mean, it's a little too consistent, so maybe I want to go the other way with it. If I have those in old gray, let's see. Yeah, it looks like I have a few. Man, I always overlook a few pieces that I might need when I'm making a Bricklink order. Never fails. So that's a little awkward, but it's fine. Or what I was, sorry, I should have it the other way. Yeah. I think that's fine if I just go with gray there. Like something like this. Oops. We do want some old gray there if possible though. And I do have a lot of those clips. The like regular light gray. So let's swap that out. I'm just gonna need to go with 1x1 plates instead. But do let me know if you're watching, if you're building along with me. Love to hear what it is you guys are working on. If you are indeed building. I know not all of us have upwards of 2 hours to spend building. I actually can't get the old gray there like I wanted to, unfortunately. Or with the clip there, at least. I'll just move it. That's more like it. Oh, as I knock the carriage back. Yeah, I feel like it's only a matter of time before I totally smack this thing across the build. But for now, it's alive. That's all that counts. We move. Oh, that clip is not secure at all. There we go. Yeah, I'm surprised at how sturdy these leaves are for this technique. It's really amazing that you can get such a low profile half plate gap by doing so. Very useful technique for sure. And I think I'm going to want to just go with the tile here instead of another plate. This is a kind of awkward gap to fill. Let's see what we can do. That looks about right. Perfect, actually. Not even worried. Not even worried for a second that I wasn't going to be able to fill that in. That is a very nice looking assembly. So the shadow is going to keep going to the left here. Probably won't extend it too far because it's already not like super accurate. But when you're looking at it from the front, the shaping is a bit more believable. And this section is going to curl in a little bit because I want there to be a contrast between the rock work and the stonework. So if I have it all gray here in this corner, it's just like you're not really going to see the distinction. So I do want to start curving it back this way. So it's going to sort of end up right around sort of where my finger is here, the shadow, I think. But yeah, it looks like this section is going to be completely comprised of the limb elements. I'm not sure. But here it looks like this is the same level, and I'm using a bracket, so I'm not really sure why that was an issue in the first place. Right? Like, or I guess, yeah, I have to just put the clips on the bracket. So yeah, it's not like a huge deal. Oh, and there goes the battery. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this out real quick. So just give me a few seconds. Shouldn't be too long. But yeah, so you should see no signal prompt, but I just need a second here. I think we're okay. But hopefully I didn't just damage this cable as I was trying to take my camera off my tripod to replace the battery. But I think we're all right. Just a few seconds. Okay, got the battery swapped. And camera should be back now. Please. If not, I'll just have to swap to my webcam. But this should work. I'm not sure why it's not. Hello, camera. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change the scene.